Jabroni, Jabronixyz, oh, it doesn't matter, you spell jabroni.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Two Jabronis with a Wrestling Podcast. BJ Cruz here with my tag team partner, the man who is all the way ready for our first Monday night show. But if you're listening to this, it's Tuesday. The incomparable Jeremy Los. Jay, what's up, dude?
So recording on Monday has officially made me watch the live Raw 3 hours, and man, I wish I had this time back.
not the best Raw to jump into after because you do the 1 hour Hulu, whatever it is.
Yeah, the 90-minute Hulu episode. Yeah. That's my jam.
It's a great compressed version of Raw. So go check it out if you haven't done so already. But yeah, the 3 hour joint is it's something. I guess I'll just put it that way.
I mean, yeah. There are a lot of like storylines that don't make sense. I have this, so I think next week I may do an experiment and just count the amount of cuts in a 3 hour episode.
Oh, camera work. All right.
Because the amount that I've seen, like I'll watch continuously for like 20-30 minutes and like go do something because I have kids, and like the amount that I see in those 20-30 minutes is jaw dropping. So I can't imagine how many cuts they actually have within a 3 hour episode.
Sure.
It's crazy, but yeah, there's a lot going on in this.
I'm
excited to start recording on Mondays because it does give me an excuse to watch more wrestling. Because I mean,
yeah, it's an extra 90 minutes put onto your schedule.
I will say the Joe is like these extra 90 minutes is just like giving me more Samoa Joe time, and that's been incredible because he's awesome.
We can all use more Samoa Joe time if we're all being honest. We are, of course, brought to you by the Blue Wire Network and our friends over at betonline.ag. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you download your podcasts. And if you're one of our fantastic Apple Podcast users, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you're feeling spicy, leave a review. And our Spotify people, hit us with that follow. Get us up those charts. Get up those Spotify charts. And listen to us on 1.2 speed. That's my new recommendation for you. You still get to hear the fullness, the sultry tones of our voice, but a little faster, so you can get to the rest of your day just a little bit quicker. So hit us with that 1.2 times speed. Send us a screenshot on
I took your advice and I listened to that. I listened to the Bad Boys Rewatchable on 1.2.
Yeah,
and it was great.
It's dope.
I did a puzzle while listening to it.
Yeah.
I finished a puzzle in less than a day, 1,000-piece puzzle in less than a day this weekend because it was 110 degrees outside, so I wasn't going outside. But yeah, 1.2 speed, that's my new jam.
It's the new joint. I told you.
Yeah, it was great. Make sure that you also subscribe and like our YouTube channel. That's Two Jabronis with a Wrestling Podcast. Make sure you also follow us on social at Two Jabronis Pod on Twitter and on Instagram and in the BR app. I really want that BR title belt. Maybe this weekend.
I think we're going for it. It's
okay.
The SummerSlam
we're
belt.
going for it, and then we just get lost in Twitter because Twitter can become just like a cesspool, and then
you get sucked in.
Yeah, but make sure you follow us on all 3 of those channels, and then you can follow me personally on Twitter at Jeremy A. Loss, and you can follow Ben at Cruise Control. That's Control with a K.
All right, we've got some WWE made some announcements today. There was also some quotes that came out by some former talent that we would like to get into. So, with all that being said, it is time to stick to wrestling. And the first item on the docket here is WWE's ThunderDome. Am I saying that correctly? Did I say that with the right amount of gusto?
ThunderDome. Yeah. You gotta have that that growl in your voice, and you may need to like wear an eye patch or like some cyberpunk gear, like you're like Mad Max to really just put it. All right,
well, next time, maybe for our next show this week, I'll dig up an eye patch. But WWE announced the ThunderDome, which is going to debut this Friday on SmackDown, I believe, and it's going to take place at the Amway Center in Orlando. So they're moving to a bigger venue. It's a virtual fan experience. So from what I gather and from what I've read and from the screenshots or the pictures that people have posted out there, it's going to be, I mean, well, the virtual fan stuff is going to be very similar to what the NBA is doing, I believe, right? Like,
yeah, but like kind of on steroids in a sense, it seems like.
Right, because the kind
like
of cameras they're
nature.
setting up that they're not screens, right? They're setting up all these. I think I was talking to you earlier about this. It kind of looks like a tarantula roller coaster of sorts, like the setup. So I'm not that tech savvy to understand what the hell they are doing, but it interests the hell out of me. I don't know about what did you think of the setup?
No, I think it looks incredible. I mean, we know that WWE puts on like their production value for a live event is really, really top notch. Their production value for TV is less than stellar. So I'm interested to see where they kind of, if they meet in the middle here and we get a really unique experience. I fear that this could be, they may overdo it in a sense and just like have sensory overload with this experience, trying to do so many things that they just don't do anything good. They just do everything kind of mediocre. Sure. But I mean, there's supposed to be drones. There's going to be pyro. Like we're going to get like really dope entrances again. So that's great. Like there's a world where this kicks ass. And then this is like the new thing that they do until
fans
the
are
world
back.
kind of comes back.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, you can, as a fan, you can actually get a ticket to be in the audience virtually. I don't know if they're charging money for that because I just tried, and for whatever reason, the ThunderDome site is completely shut down.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to charge some sort of money to get in, I should say. I'm doing air quotes for the
like
pop
$10.
people.
Like I would do that. Like if I'll
split it with you. We'll go $5 each. Halfway through the show, we'll switch.
Because I know for the fans that sit in the virtual seats for the NBA game, literally they're just watching their TV and their face just shows up. I don't know if you're a virtual fan, do you get a different experience in this because of the way that they're setting it up and they're trying to make it a little bit more unique?
I think I read something that they're going to their voices might be able to play through. Like you can start a chant. Like I don't know how that's going to play because when you start a chant in person, you can do it on beat, right? Like this is awesome. If you're doing it through like Zoom, there's inherently a lag. So it's going to be the most discombobulated, uncoordinated, this is awesome chant that you might see. But I think the bottom line for me is this, like it's just something different than what they are doing right now. Yeah. Right. And it's just going to feel bigger because of the bigger space. And I think that in of itself is worth watching because look, they're trying their hardest in the Performance Center, right? Like they genuinely are. But knowing it's in the Performance Center, the shows, the impacts of everything, they just kind of feel a little smaller, right? And it's not necessarily all the performers' faults, right? Because they're working with what they got. And I think that's why I think you're a little bit more out on this Retribution thing than I am. I'm still kind of into it because I'm
very out on Retribution. I'm just going to tell you now.
Well, no, because I want to know who's in it. Like that's just a great cliffhanger that they've hung over all of our heads. But two, it just expands the Performance Center a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like it just kind of operates outside of that environment, and like that keeps me intrigued. So that being said, bringing this to a bigger space that we know is, it's an NBA arena, right? It's this is what, like a 19,000 seat arena that sure, there's going to be no physical people there, but now the guys and girls are going to be able to perform in a way that they're more accustomed to, in that like they're going to be playing out, more towards like the back seats and the upper levels versus just like, the one row of NXT mass superstars who are just kind of around the ring. So I think it's just going to feel
playing
bigger.
To fans rather than playing to like Shotzi Blackheart.
Exactly.
What I mean? Like, not taking shots at Shotzi.
No, shout out to her, by the way. She her car was stolen last week.
She got everything back.
And now she has 2 helmets. So shout out to Shotzi.
She's great. I mean, the goal here for our pod is to get her on the show since she's from the Bay Area. So,
and she's Filipino. So double whammy.
I mean, she's the ultimate guest. Also, they're doing a legit 24/7 title match right now on Raw. Like a legit match.
Yeah. Cedric, I think, is about to retain. He did. Look at this. All right. Yeah, we're watching the final
sure,
hour of Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in on the ThunderDome. Did they say that NXT is going to be in this as well? Or are they doing NXT at Full Sail?
No. Oh, you mean Takeover? Takeover from the schedule that I saw is still at Full Sail. So at least
interesting.
Yeah, at least that's there. I thought there would be no doubt that they would move it to Amway since it is Takeover 30. So that surprised me a little bit, but from what I read on the schedule, it looks like it's going to take place at Full Sail.
I mean, I guess that's fine, but like I would have loved to see Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee in that kind of environment.
Yeah,
I think that, especially with the entrances that they could have done. But I mean, I think this is a much needed change of pace that the WWE is going to make here because, like you said, their production, they've been trying to do their best. Oh, and Shelton just going to win the 24/7 belt again. They've been doing their best in the Performance Center, but it is really limited as to what they can do. It does kind of make everything feel a little bit smaller, and something on the stage of SummerSlam. I think they've kind of learned from what they did at WrestleMania. Like they need to make it feel a little bit bigger and a little bit more important, because at times WrestleMania really fell flat because they were locked into the Performance Center. So the name aside, I mean, the name is kind of cheesy. I mean, they're just ripping off Mad Max. So, I mean, they could have come up with a better name, but what it is. I'm excited to see where it goes and what this looks like. I'm also excited to see how much they're going to charge. If it's $5-10, I'm in. If they charge anything over $20, I think it's a giant fucking ripoff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that has to be the threshold for entry, right? Like, you're not actually experiencing it any different than us watching it on the WWE Network or on TV. So, yeah. I mean,
I'm also super nervous about, like, the crowds because the crowds are different from, like, an NBA game. Like, I feel like the NBA fans are a little bit more, like, sophisticated and easier. Like, they just they won't make an ass of themselves. I'm terrified as to what the WWE fans will do.
It's like someone mooning the camera, just like an ass is just going to be in the second row during Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, I mean, the name was a little wonky for me. I'm always weary of any wrestling show that has thunder in it. I think just when WCW ran Thunder, that might have scarred me for life. But aside from that cheesiness, you know, again, just the change as a whole is exciting. And again, it just gives us a different, I mean, they're going to be there for a while, it seems, but at least it is a little bit different than, you know, just them being at the Performance Center. And like, they don't really, even being at the Performance Center, aside from, what was it, like Randy and Edge at Mania, and there was another, basically, no one really used the Performance Center space. Right, like it was just very in-ring focused.
They're doing Nia versus Shayna in the Underground.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
I mean, this is the biggest match that they've done in Underground. By the way, I mean, I know we're oh, never mind, they're not doing it. That fucking sucks. Damn it, man.
Raw Underground, man.
So this Raw Underground has had a couple weeks now, and the more I watch it, the more I hate it. Mainly because of Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon is definitely that guy. Like if you go, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I used to do this a lot when I actually used to like have to shell out money to go watch UFC events. I would go to people's houses and watch them with a gang of people. Yeah. And there'd always be that one guy that's like yelling out advice to a fighter at the TV.
Yeah.
Like jab, throw the hook. And Shane McMahon is definitely that guy.
Yeah.
They're just the worst people to watch fights with.
Yeah, it's I'm still not super into it. I know people are a lot higher on it than we are. And I think that's just people trying to enjoy the product. It is, to their credit, it's just different than what they usually do. But I don't think they don't really give it time. And maybe that's the right call because these shoot fights or whatever they're called, they shouldn't last that long, right? Because if you're getting a thumb in your eye or you're just, you know, getting choked out, you should probably tap out or you should be done pretty quickly. But, you know, kind of going back to the ThunderDome thing, you know, it's Friday will be a very, very interesting night. And I think that, you know, it's them realizing that they need to debut it on Friday for SmackDown ratings. It's just super interesting because, you know, I don't know how happy Fox is right now with their ratings. USA is what it is, right? The USA is going to take it. and they're probably fine with the numbers that they're getting. The SmackDown ones, like we all now have to tune in on Friday for the debut, so that should be super interesting.
I mean, I'm sure the USA is like super pumped about their ratings because like, what else do they have? Suits? Oh wait, is Suits still a show?
I think it's my mom watches it. I think she said it's done. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a Suits guy.
They have Suits, and then they have like all the NCIS reruns. Like that's all I know. Like,
Law and Order SVU reruns. Correct yourself. Watch
bad.
Watch what you're saying. That's an incredible show. Just a marathon whenever they put it on.
They don't have anything. So the 1.5 million, 2 million viewers that Raw will pull in every once in a while is good for USA. Let's shift gears to this interview that Rusev gave fairly recently.
Yeah.
And some interesting comments coming out of here is that apparently Vince McMahon told Rusev that the crowd was mocking him when they were chanting Rusev Day. And I think that's completely off base.
Oh, 1,000% off base. Like he has never been more over. There's probably two moments that come to mind. One, Tank Rusev. Super over. That was incredible. Yeah, one of the highlights of his career. And then Rusev Day, just as a whole, because the way people were chanting it, you could tell that they were just into it. It wasn't a mocking chant. You know what a mocking chant is? No chant at all. Yeah. Right? Like, or like, you can't wrestle, you suck, this is bullshit. Like, those chants towards you are mocking you. When they are chanting your name and a day, how's that mocking anyone? And I think something that someone tweeted earlier really put it into perspective and was 100% spot on. It was our friend of the show, Alex McCarthy of TalkSport. It just said, it just goes to show once again, if Vince wants you over, he will get you over. If he doesn't want you over, he will find a way to not get you over. And, Vince's way of not getting Rusev over was telling him to his face, like, it ain't working. And that's just complete bullshit. And it's a huge bummer because Rusev in the ring too, super, super good. He's just a fantastic worker. He always went 1,000% no matter what he was given. And obviously he kind of fell off in terms of relevance and his placing on the card after the Cena feud, which was phenomenal, by the way. And it was just like that should have been a launching pad for him to be consistently in the world title picture. And it just never came to fruition, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I think this is another example of like Vince just being completely out of touch with what what the fans want.
Right.
Oh, look, Shotzi dancing. Sorry. We're watching just to give everybody some context here. We're watching the last hour of Raw while recording this because we thought it would be interesting to like
in
catch
case
some
something
things
happened.
live. But I think this is just another instance of Vince just being completely out of touch with things. And the more wrestlers that I see kind of speak out about him and the way that he kind of looks at the business now that like the ones that are leaving, like you look at like a Matt Cardona, you look at a John Moxley, they have all had kind of things to say about the way things are handled and the way like Vince is just completely out of touch. I think this is another really good example of that because Rusev Day was one of the hottest things going. It had Aiden English over, and that's something that's like incredible. Like he wasn't over since like the Vaudevillains, and now that he just being a part of that had him over. It's a shame because Rusev really was a talent. Like when he came in against Cena, that was a really, really great feud that led up to the Tank and in the match of WrestleMania. I still think that Rusev needed to go over Cena there. I thought it was kind of a disservice not to have him go over. But I mean, injuries caught up to him a couple times. And then I think just the fact that he wasn't like all that great on the mic at times, I think he got better as time went on, but like, I think that really was a struggle for him. Having a mouthpiece like Aiden English, Lana was good for a moment, and then she kind of wore thin because her skills are just not there. So
also her accent like slowly started to go away, which is super confusing. We're like,
yeah, they just gave up.
I'm sorry.
On that.
You like it was a Kofi Kingston syndrome. Just the accent slowly started to slip away, and you're like, wait a minute, didn't you have an accent before? But also,
that's still like one of my favorite moments, like of like Triple H when he's like, "Didn't you used to be
Sean,
Jamaican?"
Yeah, didn't you used to be Jamaican? Fantastic segment. But the other thing too with Rusev is Do you remember? This is one of the segments that really pops out when I think of Rusev's run as well. And I can't believe I didn't mention this, talking about like the top moments of his career. His segment with The Rock, him, Lana, and The Rock in Brooklyn when The Rock made a surprise return it was so good. And like, you only put top tier guys or girls with The Rock when he comes back, right? Because he only comes back once in a blue moon. So you're not going to blow it on, random mid-carder. But to throw Rusev in there for, to get a pop from the crowd, that's huge. That should have been huge for Rusev. And it's unimaginable that it could get to this point where he's just not even employed by the company anymore, right? It's super weird. He has a great YouTube and Twitch channel now, which I
think he makes a good amount of money off of that.
Oh yeah, like so I think someone asked him on there, when are you going to return to wrestling? And he's like, I'm good, man. And I think he is making some solid dough over there, doing his own thing. He gets to kind of control his own schedule. Kind of makes sense now with everything, with coronavirus out there. Kind of stay safe, but man, it's still damn near a crime that no one was able to figure out how to use him correctly. And like, he had a couple U.S. title runs which were fine, or like obviously the one versus Cena was really good. Then he had another one, I think it was like a year or two ago, which was just kind of lackluster.
He also had a decent run in the Rumble. I think his first entrance his first time in the Rumble was a pretty solid decent run before he had the U.S. belt. So, I mean, he had moments. I hold out hope that he'll eventually come back. I think he's a really talented wrestler and a great character. I would love to see him. I mean, put him in Impact, put him in AEW and see where he can go. But obviously, he's in no rush. He's making that money. So we'll see. It's
just a bummer, too, that the last real storyline that he was really in was that Lana Lashley love triangle, which was like, it was actually kind of good up until like the end of last year, where we're like, wow, that was the last segment of Raw for 2019. And then all of a sudden he was just kind of disappeared.
The Lana Lashley, and then Rusev was in it, and then that was the way they brought Liv Morgan back.
Right.
And then that just kind of fizzled.
Super weird.
And now Liv Morgan is back to being kind of irrelevant, which is kind of a shame. And she's back in the Riot Squad with Ruby Riot.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really weird thing. Like, I've noticed this a couple times lately, at least the last 6, 7, 8 months. Like, they'll start storylines and they just fucking forget about them. And then they go nowhere. They don't have any long-term plans. It's like, we're going to plan out for 3-4 weeks and then that's it. And then you'll see storylines like Lana and Liv Morgan just kind of go by the wayside. You see Charlotte as the NXT champion just kind of fizzle out. Rhea as the champion kind of fizzle out. Everything just, nothing has a long tail.
Yeah.
So it's really concerning as to what they're trying to do.
And I honestly think right now they're just running the ball until crowds come back. It's just time management right now. Right.
That's really problematic though.
It 1,000% is. But it just, to your point, when you're like, why are they doing this? Why don't they just build out a long-term storyline? And I talked about this a lot too with the Drew and his title run, right? Randy's probably the first one where they've kind of gotten into the weeds with it, where you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel some heat on both sides.
Yeah.
But will it continue after SummerSlam? TBD. And that feud in of itself has only been a couple weeks old.
Yep.
So, which is just as long as the previous one. So, I really think that, at some point they're hoping that crowds are going to come back. I mean, I think Vince now has an opening. I don't know if you saw the Kansas City Chiefs opener against the Texans is going to be
They're
run.
Doing 22%
it's
capacity.
22%. Yeah, 20% capacity. So again, that's probably better than nothing. And I think Vince now, if he can get to that point, then he can start really building, in his eyes anyway, some legitimate storylines that people will see live.
I'm terrified about the idea of even having 20% of people in a stadium.
Oh, of course, dude. It's crazy. It's insane.
I mean, and then you have the colleges they're going back now, and
sort of.
I think UNC had classes or they had people come back, and then a week later, oh yeah, everything's gonna be digital now. It's it's mind-boggling to me that people, like, we're 6 months into this, I think now, something like that, and people just still don't have a grasp as to what you need to be doing to be safe and to like tamper this thing down. Just stay home and wear a mask and just be vigilant. And it's so weird that people just refuse to do that. But let's stick to wrestling here.
Yeah, well, that's actually a great way to button up the main stick to wrestling point segment. We got some bills to pay, so
yes, we do.
Let's do that now.
Let's take a moment to hear from our friends over at TheraOne CBD. From tight muscles, tough workouts, signs of aging, to simply making it through each busy day, everyone understands what it feels like to be tense and sore. So everyone can benefit from TheraOne's CBD products. Started by Dr. Jason Wersland, TheraBody exists to provide you with the best scientifically validated natural solutions to help soothe your body and relax your mind. It started with the revolutionary Theragun percussive therapy device. When Dr. Jason saw the benefits of using CBD in his treatments, he created TheraOne to bring you CBD products done right. A lot of CBD products claim organic, but still can't contain up to 30% filler, and these fillers are potentially toxic. TheraOne tests their products 4 times before they get to you. Every product is USDA certified organic, grown in the US, and their CBD extracts are the highest quality available anywhere. Use TheraOne's warming lotion in your morning routine, the cooling lotion or massage oil to recover, body balm for targeted relief, and sleep tincture to drift into a deep night's sleep. And now through Labor Day, Monday, September 7th, TheraOne is offering our listeners a buy one, get one free for all TheraOne products. But you've got to go to theragun.com/bluewire. If you don't love what you get from TheraOne, send it back for a full refund within 30 days of purchase. This is not something TheraOne is likely to do again. Buy one, get one free at theragun.com/bluewire. But only until Labor Day. Go right now to Theragun. That's THERAGUN.com/bluewire.
There it is. New ad. New
that
friends
was the
to the
longest
show.
ad read I've ever heard in my life.
It was great. CBD. Big fan.
Seriously, I take that, and I suffer from like restless leg syndrome whenever I like try to go to bed, and I've been taking CBD for a little while now, and it really helps. Also helps with anxiety. It's a great product. So yeah. Check out buy one get one is great because
that's
CBD
huge.
oil is fucking expensive.
Oh no, for real. And I've been using CBD cream lately for my shoulder, just because, dude, my birthday just passed. I think yours is coming up. We are washed AF, as the children like to say on the TikToks. So I've been having
on the reels,
and the reels and the TikToks. So man, the CBD cream though, on the shoulder, it's been helping me out a lot. So go check them out. Before we get out of here, I did want to talk about the.
1 second. Sorry,
no.
We're gonna cut. We're gonna keep this in. Shawn Michaels is closing out Raw right now.
Yeah,
he's about to get punted.
Of course he is. Once I saw he was coming to the show, I was like, well, he's just gonna be added to the punting list.
Man, Randy Orton's about to knock his eye straight.
And like it doesn't like, I love HBK. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. Glad to see him. Always always rocking the NXT hat, which is just shameless promotion, but that just goes back to his DX days, right? Him and Trips just kind of knew how to promote what they were a part of. But like, I understand he's like tight with Ric Flair and like he's close to him. Does he need to be the one on the go home show to like defend Rick's honor? Because in my eyes, Shawn retired Rick, and Rick is technically closer, I think, as personal friends like Triple H. I think there's just other people in the company who could be like, yo, you punted my friend. Like, that's not cool. But I think this is a great ratings grab for Vince and for Raw to be like, oh, we got one of the best ever to do it out there, and he's going to get his ass kicked by Randy Orton.
They should just put that like on the marquee for Raw, like, watch Shawn Michaels get punted.
Yeah, seriously.
Monday night.
I kind of would have been in. Like, that's a great tagline.
Also, he's wearing like the full on like dad fit. Like, he's got blue jeans on, a shirt, and a blazer. He's just like, I'm ready to rock.
A V-neck shirt with a blazer, which is always you're either a dad or you're on The Bachelor. or the Bachelorette, and you're trying to score a date. Oh, there's Randy. There it is. There's the RKO. There goes the hat. The hat is gone.
Oh man, you're way ahead of me. I'm like
Whoa!
still like,
wow. Just it was quick. That happened quick.
he hit him with the punch. Like my feed is like Sean is still talking.
Oh well. Spoiler alert.
Damn it.
But anyway, so he never saw it coming, which, by the way, is a great transition to the SummerSlam tagline, which for some reason, and I didn't know this, and I don't know if they just added this, is "You'll never see it coming," which I guess has to do with, wow, Sean is bald, which I guess has to do with the RKO, because you'll never see it coming. It comes from out of nowhere.
Oh man, he punted the shit out of him. I just got there. Wow.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know, it's such a weird tagline, and I guess like usually when they have these taglines, you can kind of apply that saying to like multiple storylines and multiple matches. So, like, okay, you add it to Randy Drew, that kind of makes sense. Maybe Retribution. I think they're going to be involved.
Say it leans into Randy Drew and Retribution. Maybe there's a turn.
I think Sasha Bailey, that whole situation with Asuka, someone's going to lose the title. I think one of them is for sure going to lose the title. And then that's going to cause their feud, so you'll never see that coming. Maybe Apollo Crews does the finger poke of death, and he joins.
Finger poke of doom,
yeah, and sorry of doom. I don't want him to die. And then he hands MVP the United States title. I'm just trying to apply it to every single storyline.
Samoa Joe comes out from the booth and defends Dominic. Oh wait,
or
Dominic turns on Ray.
Oh yeah,
He becomes a disciple.
I will never see that coming.
Yes, all right,
that'd be incredible. So this is good. We did it. We found a way to implement that SummerSlam tagline into like all the major matches, which is.
I mean, they should just call us and just like ask us for ideas, because we're pretty damn good at this.
I don't know how you do it with the Raw tag belts.
I mean, they kind of did it with like Zelina like being the poisoner.
But we did see that coming. So I saw it coming.
You?
Of course. Come on.
So I totally forgot about that storyline. And when they were talking about it with Samoa Joe, I was like, wait, are they doing like a sex tape storyline? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I totally forgot that they like poisoned Montez and like they're still trying to figure that out.
I figured that's what they were gonna do. And then in the back of my mind, I did have like the sex tape thing where I was like, did Angel Garza and like Zelina like tape something where Andrade's just gonna be super confused? But I mean, I kind of saw that coming. So maybe that match, that feud doesn't quite fit the bill, but I guess the rest of it does. Or at least the main ones that we've identified. It's just. When did they add this? I literally didn't see it.
Literally, I think it was this week.
Until this week.
I don't remember them talking about this like last week. Like even on Friday, I don't remember them saying.
Right, and we did a show on Friday.
Yeah, so I don't remember that. So like, they're just trying to find like something to like make it interesting. This is a really good way I think the way that they ended Raw was great for the go home. It just took forever for them to actually get there.
No, it was solid. I wasn't mad at it. Sean, I think, recovered a little too quickly from the punt. Most people who get punted,
like calling around. Like if you get punted in the face,
you just got to go
down for like 20 minutes.
And that's what everyone has done before him. But again, Shawn Michaels is the greatest of all time. So
I would have laughed my ass off if he no-sold that shit and just took the kick and popped back up and then hit him with sweet chin music.
Dude, that would have been incredible. A no-selling of the punt has to come at some point.
I'm a sucker for a good no-sell. I don't know about you, but I like it when somebody's like, just fuck it, I'm not selling this shit.
I think it's hilarious. It's probably not great for the other person because it discredits anything that they've just done. But it is super funny in the moment to be like, and just to like immediately call it out. Like whenever you see a no-sell, I don't know about you, I immediately point at the screen and be like, no-sell. He just no-sold. Yeah. And it's so funny to me. But
yeah, I'm always like, that motherfucker's gonna get heat in the back right when he gets back.
So it's
man, I want to see that. I just want to see somebody like no sell the punt just one time and then hit Randy with something. But yeah, I mean, SummerSlam will be interesting. We'll never see what's coming. I mean, I'm really interested to see what they do with Retribution because this storyline sucks.
And I guess like the whole, the new setup is something we technically haven't seen coming. If there's a drone, maybe, Matt Hardy makes an appearance. Won't see that coming.
Can you imagine if, like, they crash a drone in the middle of a match? Those things are not easy to fly. Have you flown a drone?
No.
I got my son one for, was it Christmas or his birthday last year? And we were at my father-in-law's place, and he doesn't have like a big backyard. He has a bunch of palm trees like hanging over. And I was like, let me show you how to fly it. And I like flew it, and I like shot that thing straight up in the palm tree, and it broke within like 2 minutes. And my son was so devastated. Like, drones are not easy to fly. So, yeah, we can have some devastation here where they just like crash into the middle of a match. They also like totally forgot about a match tonight. Did you notice that? Where they had the Mickie James Natalya match, and then they were just like, oh yeah, shit, we're just gonna do the Seth Samoa Joe storyline on the side. Just forget about the match.
It was pretty disrespectful, actually. Right? Like,
Mickie James came back, she didn't even get an entrance.
Right, that was her comeback match. Natty finally won a match. Like, obviously it was by count out. And like, again, the disrespect of that to just be like, we don't have time in this 3-hour show to give Seth, Murphy, and Samoa Joe like their own little segment. Like, we got to do it in the middle of this match, which was a short match, by the way. It's not like it was a 15-minute banger or anything. It was literally like a 5 to 7 minute match, if that. And they were like, oh, let's throw Seth out there.
It's crazy to me that they have 3 hours and they don't have time for certain segments. And also it's 3 hours and they don't give any match over like 12 minutes.
It's freaking bizarre.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And then AEW is like trying to make hints at potentially going 3 hours. I was like, please don't do it. Just don't do it.
Look, man, there's a lot of wrestling. I'm now in like, my DVR is just full of wrestling. My wife was like going through it the other day, and she was like, so you tape wrestling on Monday, Tuesday, because now I've been recording Impact, Friday, and like these are what, like, so Tuesday, Fridays, that's 4 hours. It's like 7 hours of wrestling a week. And
not including Wednesday nights?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. And then I DVR Dynamite too. So that's another 2 hours. So it's literally, I have 9 hours of wrestling on my DVR every week. It does not. And then when my wife is like, why is our DVR full? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
A lot of CSI, a lot of Law and Order.
My Law and Order SVU marathons. I'm sorry. I'll clean that right up. So I hope AEW doesn't add another hour, although I think they're going to. Like, why wouldn't you?
Or they just create another show. I mean, they have Dark, but
they moved that to like
I don't know
YouTube,
about you, but
right?
I watched Dark for a good like month and a half, and then I just kind of fell off because it's on YouTube. It's so difficult to like actually get into the habit of like going back to YouTube every Tuesday to watch an episode. So, as we ramble on about how things are too long, let's go ahead and wrap up our show and get out of here. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure that you follow us on social at 2JabroniesPod on Instagram, on Twitter, and in the BR app. Make sure that you subscribe and like to our YouTube channel at 2 Jabronis with a Wrestling Podcast. And also make sure that you subscribe or follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Alas, and you can follow Ben at Cruise Control. That's Control with a K.
And don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you download your podcasts. And if you're one of our fantastic Apple Podcast users, please, please, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you're feeling spicy, leave a review. Our Spotify people, hit us with that follow. Help us jump up those charts. And we'll be back on Friday in your podcast feeds. So that's the new programming slate, Tuesdays and Fridays. We appreciate you, as always, coming on this journey with us. Until then, keep staying home, stay healthy. If you can't stay home, please wear a mask, wash your hands, and always and forever, Black Lives Matter. All right, everyone, we'll catch you on Friday. Peace.
Later.